Are you looking to sell more homes and get more listings? Well, check out this video, how I edit all of my real estate listing videos myself in under 30 minutes, and that's helped me increase my listing business over 300% since last year. What's up guys, Kyle here, and today I'm going to share with you how I edit my real estate listing videos using Final Cut Pro. So as you may or may not know, I am not a professional videographer or photographer. I'm a real estate agent here in San Antonio, Texas. I took up photography and videography probably in the last year and got pretty serious about it, mainly for my family and for going on trips and vacations. But then now I take it into real estate, and I've basically taught myself how to go out, take video of my own listings, how to take photos of my own listings. And today I'm going to talk about the processing part of it, where I'm going over and actually editing the video that I capture out at the listings. So that being said, if you're brand new or if you've never taken video or photography in your life, I mean, there's a lot to learn. It's not something that I did overnight, but it's something that you're definitely able to do yourself without having to sign up for some expensive classes or anything like that. I got all of the information and knowledge that I know through YouTube and through just watching videos. Shout out to Peter McKinnon. Plus, I'll be putting out a lot more videos related to actually how to shoot the footage, the different camera equipment that I actually use, and just more real estate content in general. So stay tuned, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Hit that like button, it really helps out, especially my channel since it's just getting started. It'll help get more exposure, help me be able to bring you better and more content. And then lastly, get notified. Hit the little bell icon so then whenever I put a new video up, you're gonna get a notification that I just put out a new training. All right, so that being said, I'm gonna pull Final Cut up and let's just jump right in. All right, so this is the opening screen for Final Cut. What I've done is I've actually started a new library just for this particular listing. I create new libraries every time I do a project, whether it's a family project or a real estate project. Just keeps it more organized for me. So I've started a new library entitled My Listings Address. I've got an event here listed video where I'm going to put all the video files. I'm also going to create another event titled Assets, where I'm going to put in there everything to do with the music, or if I'm going to put like a headshot of me at the end or anything like that. And then finally I'm going to put another event called Projects, and I'm actually going to create the project file in here. I'm uploading in 4K. Now, of course, if you're only recording in 1080p, you can select 1080p right there. Mine is 24 frames per second, which I'm recording at. If you're using an iPhone, or if you know anything about what type of frames per second you're shooting in, you can of course change that to 30 frames, which is most common that like iPhones and things like that shoot in. But anyways, I'm keeping mine at 24p. And so you'll see there 23.98 is just what I use. Say OK, creates a new project down at the bottom. If I click on projects, it's right in here. I'm just going to rename it 1331 South Flores 101. All right, perfect. So now I need to go grab and import all of my video. So I hear video here, click on name. Oops, actually here, it's the wrong file here. I want to go into multimedia. 2019 listings 2019. There we go. Grab the video from here. All right, take all of it. And for me, if you're using a computer that's not quick, or you see it lagging a lot, I'm using a MacBook Pro. It can handle 4K video pretty well. But even if you're doing 1080p, or if you're using 4K and you don't have quite as good of a laptop, you can create proxy media. It will help you help your computer to edit them in a quicker rate. I'll click it just so that way it's going in the background. But then here you can see here what I've got: add existing event, I'm going to leave the files in place, so they're going to stay on my hard drive wherever I have them. It's not going to move it into my Final Cut library. Keywords, it's just going to automatically assign all that. And then I just create proxy media. That's the only thing that I'm doing on this one. You don't have to create proxy media. Again, I usually don't, just because my computer can handle it. But I'll show you just so you can see what it looks like if you do that and how you actually use those settings. So anyways, I'm just going to say import all. All right, so now we got all of our video files in here. It's going to start rendering. You see up here in this little circle thing, transcoding and analysis. So it's transcoding all those clips, and it's going to make proxy files of them, which is just a smaller file basically that your computer can handle much easier. It's not going to have the detail as like the full quality image would, but that's okay, because when you go to export it, it takes all of the editing that you did on those proxy files and it actually will export the full version file. So it's okay just to use the proxies and edit on the proxies, but then when you go to export them, you're going to want to go and use the full resolution and just export from that full resolution, and all the editing that you did to the proxies will carry over to that full version, so it'll look just like it would, but with great quality. So anyways, here we go. We got all of our files loaded up in here. I'm going to go ahead and click. Basically, I just click on all of them and I drag them all into my timeline down here. So I get them all in there. So all my files are down here. And then the first thing that I'm going to do is I go over here to the speed and I say automatic speed. Because what that's going to do is, for instance, if I took any slow motion video or 120 frames per second video, which is pretty much all that I do in my real estate listing videos, is it's all slow motion, is it will actually take that 120 frames per second, slow it down to my 24 frames per second timeline. And so you can see here, it's basically slowed all my clips. So like my drone footage, it slows it down 80% because I'm usually recording in 30 frames per second. So it slows those down to 80%, so it's actually going to match up with that 24 frames per second. And then all of my 120 frames per second clips slows it down by 20%, so pretty significantly slower. So that way, again, it matches the 24 frames per second timeline. And so here we go. So basically what I do at this point is I kind of just start to look at all the clips. It looks like they're all in there in the right order. All right. And so then what I want to do next is take all of it and make sure I take all the audio out, because there was no audio in this that I wanted to keep. It was just clips of the house. So I'm going to click, drag, delete all these, right click, say, actually just delete. There you go. All right, so I got all that. Now next, what I'm going to do is I like to add in, when I record with my camera, I've got some specific settings that I do because I don't have it just on the auto settings that the camera came with. I've actually modified like the saturation and the colors and all that kind of stuff. And the reason I do that is because then I can upload a LUT to the footage. And a LUT is just basically like a preset that has, certain color changes and things like that. But I'm going to put this LUT on here. I choose the external LUT. I actually got this LUT from Cody Blue, another YouTuber. Let me see here. Come in here, go to Final Cut Files, Cine Tahoe. All right, perfect. And so what you can see that LUT does is it'll change the color. Like right now it's at 100%. If I come down with it, you can just see it's a subtle kind of change to it. It adds some contrast in there, kind of makes some of the stuff pop. But if you're using the auto settings of your camera, chances are it's not going to look as desaturated as this to begin with. They're going to automatically have some pretty good color profiles on there. But for mine, I pretty much take out all the saturation, everything, and then that way I can use my LUT. I put the LUT in there. I even bump up the saturation just a little bit on mine. I bump up the contrast. There we go. So it looks like that. That's what my image will look like. I'm going to copy that. I press Command C. I can select all my other videos. Then I press Command Shift V. I paste in the LUT to all of them. And then now all of my files have it. Now you may be wondering, well, how come you didn't do it to these first few? It's because that was my drone footage. The drone takes a little bit different. I don't have all the color settings on the drone, and so it usually comes in with a pretty good picture profile already. So if I put the LUT on top of it, then it just looks way too much. And so I'll just leave that footage alone. But then now what I do is I just start cutting all of the video, because as you can see here, this video would be I guess it's like a 24-minute video as it would stand right now, just because all this footage was slowed down. So I'm going to go in, make the timeline a little bit bigger. I just click the Command plus sign to make it bigger, and you can see it makes all the clips a little bit longer on that timeline, so that way I can edit it a little bit easier. So, alright, let's see here. So now we got that going. I'm going to close this. Alright, I'm going to turn that off. There we go. Alright, so now I'm going to go through and just start kind of cutting and clipping these how I see fit. I use the blade tool, so if you press B, it'll pull up this blade right here. And so you can see here, this is a condo. It's that end unit right here. So I can just clip that real quick, clip that. And then if you press A, it'll actually allow you to select the clip. So you can see there, if I click on that, this clip is 3 seconds long. I try and keep my clips to like 2 to 3 seconds. So that's about the length that I want to be cutting my clips to. So like there's one clip. I can come over here. Let's see. Maybe that's a clip right there. All right, start there. Maybe clip it to there. Okay. Come back over. I don't think I want to use that. Those are all kind of the same. It's kind of the same. All right, so then that's pretty much it for that deal right there. So I'm going to delete the ones that I don't use, that one, and then this end piece. You can see my timeline's dragging quite a bit, and it's because I'm still trying to edit this as it's transcoding those those smaller proxies in the background. So it's kind of going a little slow here, but that's okay. And then let's see, now let me look at these drone footage. Let's see, that was the one right here that I liked. Yeah, so you can see downtown. So I want that whole thing in it. So I'm probably going to cut that. This is going to be a longer clip, but that's okay because I'm going to use this as like an intro to the actual title of the listing. So I'm going to put like the address on there, so it's okay if it runs a little bit longer. This clip's about 7 seconds. That's perfect. I'll put a little deal that says, you know, the address on there when it's loaded, so people can watch that as it's going up. In fact, I might even just keep this up a little bit longer there. It just stays up like that. All right, so here's the next clip showing the pool. Get my blade tool again. All right, I'm gonna blade right there, and then right about there. Okay, I don't need that. I don't need that. I'm just hitting delete to get rid of the parts that I don't need. All right, now I got kind of the beginning part here. All right, that's it. All right, so I'm gonna get this one kind of while I'm turning. Right there, right there. And delete that end part. Okay, and then that's just a general overview of the whole thing. So we'll try and, yeah, I think this part looks the best probably right here. Just blade that, see if there's any other part of this that I want. I might use this for at the end, so I'll just kind of blade that and keep that there, just like that. And I think that's all that I need. So delete that, and delete this part. Alright, so now we're going to get to the actual footage that I shot with my camera. This is my handheld. This is the Sony A7III that I use. Alright, so I tried to get something showing the name of it. I think I got a better one over here. Let's see, because yeah, this is pretty dark. I might use that right there. So I'll blade this to So there, delete that. Okay, showing a little entry area here. Avoid that. Take the beginning and the end off. Let's see, south end lofts. So I could get like maybe like this to that. Avoid the rest. Okay. I got pool. All right, there we go. So we got all of the clips cut, and now I'm just going to go back and just make sure that they're all like within about 2 seconds. So if they're a little bit too long, then I'm going to go ahead and shorten them just by kind of dragging left and right. You can see to about 2 seconds on each one of those. 2 seconds there. Kind of go to the beginning. So like this one's extremely long compared to all the others, 9 seconds. But again, that's going to be the one that my title's going on, so that's okay. We got 3 seconds. That one's a little long. 4 seconds. We'll bring that down. 3/18's fine. 3, 3, and then I can kind of start to see like that one's going to be a little long. So we'll go ahead and just go like that. Down here, 3 seconds. This grill one doesn't need to be 4 seconds. That could probably be like 2 seconds. This entry area is 3 seconds, but that could probably be even shorter. This fountain is 6 seconds. That's way too long. There we go, so you go like that, down to 3 seconds. And this entryway area is 5 seconds. It might not sound like a lot of time, but when somebody's watching the video, 5 seconds is pretty slow. So you want to keep it upbeat, moving along from scene to scene, showing different things. And then you also want to check to make sure that the order that you're showing the clips in kind of tells a story about the property. And so, you kind of start outside, around the place, and then you go inside. And then a lot of times, like if I have a backyard on a regular listing, I'll go show the back patio, then the backyard, and then maybe, one drone clip at the end of like the whole property. And then the first clip though that you want to put in there, the first 5-10 seconds, you want your best clip, whatever that is. If it's a beautiful kitchen, beautiful drone shot, nice front exterior of the home, whatever your best clip or clips are, put that right in the beginning, because that's going to be usually the first thing people see. If it's just going across social media or anything like that, you're going to want to catch their attention, and then that way they'll watch the rest of the video. All right, so let's see, finish this up. All right, so that's pretty good. The video whole length is about 1:59, so that's perfect. Then what we're going to do next, the next thing that I do, is if you press Command 7, it'll pull up kind of the all of the colors and the exposure for your video. And so what you want to do is come in here, go to the color panel, go to exposure, and then basically 100 means that's full white, 0 is full black, and you want your image to touch both of those top and bottom levels, because that way you have the highest dynamic range that you can get, and it'll make the picture look the best. Plus then I just kind of eyeball it and look at the screen, and basically if I need like to come down, like if it's too high, like that looks about right already. And again, because this is shot with my drone, so it kind of adjusts that automatically. But on these ones, you can see here, it's a manual setting, so they're going to be off quite a bit that I'll have to adjust. And so, but I'll start here, just kind of show. But if I look at that image and it looks a little dark to me, I might brighten up the midtones, which is this panel right here. Kind of bring that up a little bit. Everything else, I'm going to keep it the same. come over here. So you got to click above it and then click on the actual clip so that way you can see it like that, and then you can edit it when you click the clip. So like this one here, looks like I could bring the darks down a little bit, the lights up maybe a hair, and I'll kind of brighten up the image a little bit. Over here, you can just kind of pull that down, pull that up. And if you want, I mean, if it's a longer clip, like you can actually kind of drag through here and just check to make sure it all is staying within, and you don't have something that changes in the middle of your scene that would make it, you know, look funny. All right, so then we click this one. Let's go ahead and lift this up here, pull that down, kind of maybe brighten it up a little bit. There we go. You don't want to go too much though, because your image will start to look like if you pull up the midtones too much, you'll start to introduce a lot of like grain into your image, and it'll just look pretty bad. So do that. I can still tell that this image is very flat. Like I need to add some saturation to all that drone footage. Remember, I did not put a LUT into it, so that's straight out of the camera, which is pretty good on the drone, but it's still, you know, you're gonna wanna add some saturation and things like that. All right, so we go there. All right, that. Lay that up. All right. Lift those. Drop that. That up a little bit. All right, so those are all my drone shots. Now, while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to add a little bit of saturation. So to add saturation, you just kind of pull up like this. There you go. You can see adding colors to it. Now, you don't want to go too crazy. You know, I'm thinking probably 35% for right now. Same thing here. Probably actually closer to 50%. Okay. Oops, that's what I was doing wrong. 50%. There we go. Midtones, we're gonna go back to 0. 50% there. There we go. Now in most cameras, most situations, 50% would be probably quite a bit too much. But I think on my drone, what I do is I actually use my DJI Pro. It's the DJI Mavic Pro 2, and I pretty much take all the saturation down as much as possible. And the reason why I do that is it actually gives you a higher dynamic range when you go back into the post processing and edit it. It'll give you the ability to add back in that saturation. You'll get more color into your picture. And so, all right, so that looks like I've done pretty much all of those. This one I need to do real quick. All right. There we go, that's the last one. So that should be the last one I have to do there. Now I gotta go back over to the camera ones and just fix the exposures on those. So we're gonna drop that down to like that, and drop that one down right there. Lift up the midtones a little bit. All right. Above and below, drop that down, drop those down. And if you actually watch the image when you're doing this, you can see it picking up more colors. So for instance, like on this one, you drop it down and see how the dynamic range, it's actually a lot more vivid. I'll bring that down. Alright, so you're probably wondering, what did I just do right there? Well, on those images, they were extremely yellow, and so on my camera, I had actually had the white balance, I think, set for daylight or natural light, so most of the shots look okay when there's daylight coming in, but then when I went into the bathroom and there was just light coming from the light fixtures, it made all the colors look kind of funny. So now I changed that back, and then I'm going to come in here, kind of edit back my deal there. There we go, that looks pretty good. Alright, so what you saw there is I just went in here and balanced the color, and that's for like if your white balance is way off. Like in this case, I set my camera for like daylight, and when I went into this particular bathroom, it was all just light from the light bulbs, and it made my white balance way off. So I went ahead and fixed that, and I did that for most of these images where it was the bathroom here. Once I get back here into the master bedroom, you can see it's a lot of natural light. Again, I don't need to balance the color in this particular one. So now I'll just finish doing the exposure. Pull up my panel there. All right, so there we go. All right, so the rest of these are good to go. So, all right, so that's it. That's pretty much it as far as setting the exposure and the white balance and the color. I'm pretty satisfied with how all of that looks for this. I'll just go back and make sure all my clips are, you know, like this one's here is a little long, maybe three seconds. Okay, bring that down a little bit to 2. The rest of the clips look pretty good. This one might be a little long, 4 seconds here. Okay, shorten that up a little bit. There we go. All right, so this one's the long one, but again, that's going to be my opening. I'm going to have the title of the property there. All right, there we go. So now all I need to do is add titles to the video and my music. So here what I did, if I come into my assets, is I've added in the music that I'm going to use, which I actually download all my music. I use Epidemic Sound. It's like 15 bucks a month, but they've got great music on there. It's all royalty free, so you can use it in your videos and not get copyright violations from YouTube. And so I've downloaded a song from Epidemic Sound. I've uploaded it or imported it to the assets event in my library for Final Cut Pro. And then I've also put my headshot in the assets as well, because I'm going to use that in the title at the end. So I'm just going to click and drag, add my music to it, zoom out so I can make sure, yep, the music covers the entire length of the video. And then I'm going to go in here and add a title. So if you click up here for titles, I'm going to come over to the Fade 3D. Let's see, 4K only. I don't think, let's see, yeah. Here we go. Let me come down here, Fade 3D, this one right there. I'm going to add it to right around the beginning, have it come to about the end there. And then if you click on the Fade 3D part, actually put your cursor above it so that way you can see what you're looking at. And then you can take off, if you press Command 7 to remove the exposure tab there. You come over here, Fade 3D. I'm going to edit the text. You click on the text up in the top right. And I'm going to put the address 1331 South Flores, unit number 101. Alright, that looks pretty good there. Maybe a little bit big. Kind of bring that in. And then I'm going to drag it down to the bottom left corner. So you just click, make sure to see how the this right here is transform is selected. You're going to click down here at the bottom, move that down. And then if I come over here, I can actually watch and see what it looks like. There we go. Perfect, so I think that looks good. And it goes right into the rest of the video. And then I'm just going to put one more title at the end with my information. So for that one, I'm just going to use the regular fade, drag it onto the actual timeline instead of above it, like we did on the one before, and make sure I'm going to do about 10 seconds on this. So we got 10 seconds right there. All right, and click on it. Let's go ahead and change that. Brokered, exclusive. Actually, I don't put brokered, I put listed exclusively by Kyle Handy. Put my phone number. then I put brokered by eXp Realty. Just like that. I shrink this text a little smaller, 72, I go to about 36 on that. Then I click and drag it over a little bit, because now I'm going to go back to my assets, grab my headshot, and drag that onto the timeline. Make sure it links up there. Now it's covering the whole thing, so you got to shrink it. Just like that. Looks about good. Bring that right there. Just like that. So that's it. Select off. Looks pretty good to me. Then I'm going to have my music go for about 10 seconds longer than the actual video, and that's just for YouTube. YouTube will add some end screens there where it'll show the next video to them, or that gives them the option to subscribe to my channel, which hopefully you'll subscribe to my channel. But if you see here, the video ends at 2:08, so I'm going to have this go to about 2:18. There we go. So basically what's going to happen is when this is all done, it's going to show a blank screen where it's going to pop up on YouTube, the subscribe icon, the next videos, all that kind of stuff. If you don't leave room for that, it's going to put it at the end of your video, so it'll be covering over your information there. So I usually just leave about 10 seconds there at the very end for that to come on. And then I'm actually going to shrink my headshot to like go away right before the fade starts, so like right about there, so it'll look kind of like this. There we go. Looks perfect. All right, so that's it. So that's pretty much the whole video there. Now it's just ready for export. All you got to do at this point is just go to your projects, click on the project itself, say File, Share, Master File, and then if I go over to the settings, you can see here what mine is H.264. This is 4K. Yours might be different if it's 1080p. But that's it. The file is going to be about a 1 gigabyte file. It's going to go to my desktop. I can just cancel out of that for now. But basically, at that point, you've got a file. You can put it to Facebook. You can put it to YouTube. Do whatever you want with it. All right, so at this point, you're either really excited, you're probably thinking, why would I ever spend that much time doing anything like this, learning this, doing all this? Well, I'll tell you what, I mean, since I started doing this about a year ago, you know, it's actually been a fun learning experience, but it's also been beneficial to my business. At this point, I can go to every single one of my listings and confidently tell the seller, hey, you know, you're going to get professional video and photography at each of your listings, whereas before, you know, I had to kind of decide, do I want to spend $700 or $1,000 to have a videographer come out here and do that, because that's what they charge for something like this. And so, you know, but I like to be able to offer this for every single one of my listings. I think it's a huge help. And at this point now, you know, after you do it about a handful of times, you can do it pretty quick. You know, it takes me about 30 minutes to an hour to edit a listing video, and it takes me about another 30 minutes to an hour to actually shoot the video. So, you know, it's taking me an extra hour to 2 hours of work to do this. But again, I'm, you know, saving anywhere from $500 to $1,000, and I can put my own creativity, you know, put what I want to put into it. So I think it's a really cool benefit. Not to mention, whenever I post these videos and other people thinking about selling their home, they see these videos, they want this type of marketing done on their listing. I can't tell you how many listings that I've got this year alone just because people see my videos and say, man, I really want that. It's kind of cool. They like the videos in the sense that they think that it's going to sell their home faster, which, you know, very well it could, but they also like these videos to hang on to and actually keep it for whenever, you know, they move on. They still have kind of a keepsake of their you know, previous property. So it's kind of a cool thing. Sellers love it. It gives great referrals. There's a lot of benefits to doing video for each one of your listings. Oh, and by the way, if you want to see the finished product, I'll put a link up above that you can click on so you can go take a look at the video. All right, so I hope you got a lot of value out of this video. Hit that like button, and if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel and hit that bell notification so that way you can get notified whenever my next video comes on.